scenario. There's 90s era terrorists over there, and we need SWAT to go take them out while throwing kettlebells.
In my professional opinion...
Hello, welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're going to cover the Fairfax Rod and Gun Club's 2-Gun Action Challenge match of September 2023. This is PCC Lessons Learned. And why is that? Well, this is the first match I've ever used a PCC in. I own a few, I have a lot of fun with them, but I've never used one in a match environment. Mainly because most people use it as cheater mode. And that's not what happened this time around. We're going to go through the stages as I shot them, so not in the order of 1 through 5, but in the order that I actually shot them, which was 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. And the reason I'm going to do that is each stage we learned something, and each stage it was a bit of progression. Now, I really did this in hard mode because I would have maybe chose a different weapon system because all target engagements were at about 100 meters. With the exception of a couple stages where you advanced on the targets, you got a little bit closer. But yeah, I'm launching 9mm at 100 meter at some really small targets. Learned a lot about what you can and can't do with the PCC. Also learned a lot about iron sights versus optics, and got some good lessons learned out of this to prepare me for CQB Brutality, which is in November, of which I intend to use a PCC at. Alrighty, this stage you started out prone. You had two 66% targets at 100 meters. You had to get 2 hits, reload, move to your next shooting position, shoot under the barricade, get 2 more hits on the targets presented there, and reload and move to the final shooting position, get 2 hits. Fairly straightforward. Did fairly well on this with the PCC in and of the fact that stable prone shooting position. Once I figured out the range and where the bullets were hitting with the horrible HK sighting system, things kind of fell into place. Okay, on this stage you start in the middle and you could run right or left. You had a barricade to shoot from with 2 targets to engage downrange at 100 meters. You had to go for the full 60 seconds and you got a 5-second bonus for each hit that you achieved. And one of the things that made this extra tough, you can see the conditions here are a little hazy. We had off and on range. Glasses fogging was a thing. And a lot of times I was just shooting through haze. The iron-sighted system of the HK MP5 style weapons, the diopter and a big front bowstring and a thick front post, and 66% targets is not the best matchup in the world. I have a feeling that if they were full-size target, my hit ratio would have been a little bit better. I did get the hits. I chose to abandon, it just wasn't coming there. Figured I'll go back over here and collect some more, but time just wasn't allowing that. Alright, moving on to stage 5 here. You started at this position and you had a big full-size IPSC target. You had 5 shots from a 5-round magazine. Every shot you got with a PCC got you a 5-second bonus. If you had a pistol, you got a 15-second bonus. Then you moved either to your right or left and engaged the targets there. And as you saw me wipe my lens there, fog in the haze and the glasses fogging up was just getting with me. And the windage just isn't quite right on the iron sights of this PCC, which is an MKE 55 clone. So finding out the exact sweet spot to be aiming at was a bit difficult. So ended up not getting all the hits I wanted on this one, but close enough, as they say. Okay, moving on to stage 2, the Casarda drill. This was just a straight up standard Casarda drill. The difference here is you were firing at 100 meters like all Casarda drills, but your target, instead of being a full-size IPSC target, was a double spinner. Now, you were only required to hit 1 plate on the spinner, any of the 4 that were presenting themselves. You were not required to spin it, just get 1 hit and move on. Essentially what I'm doing here is with a PCC making 100-meter headshots. So very difficult. Also, I've self-sabotaged here, but I haven't realized it yet. I knew from the previous stages the sights were a little off, the haze was working against us. Still doing the same thing here, glasses are fogging up with any physical exertion. But the other problem is, going to the range, I had preloaded my magazines the night before. Well, after 3 stages, I reloaded them with the ammo can that I brought. Well, that ammo can was full of 147 subsonics, not the 124 full metal jackets I had loaded up the night before. So now my point of aim is radically different. Once I figured out what was going on these small targets, I was able to start making the hits, and each throw of the kettlebell got me a little bit closer, and each time that helped out a lot. Also, it helped out that I was getting some really good kettlebell throws here, so that was an advantage as well. I love the Casarda drill. I think it's one of the best out there. It's basic infantry movement technique. I'm up, they see me, I'm down in a 3 to 5 second rush. The most military of military things. So every time this comes up in a brutality match or a 2-gun action challenge match, I'm pretty happy to see it. I'm pretty unhappy with this particular one because didn't finish the Casarda drill here, and I think that's probably one of the worst, if not the worst, performances I've had on a Casarda drill.
Time?
No, go. That was it.
Unfortunately, I do understand the course of fire.
I would really hope so at this point.
All right, on to stage 1, my last stage of the day, and I am the last shooter on the squad. What you had to do here is step up onto this big tire, which was very unsteady, and engage the double spinner down the range at 100 meters. Now, you didn't have to spin it. What you had was 4 targets presented to you. You had to get a hit on each of the 4 targets. So you're shooting at the spinner, you just have to hit it and make it move. So now you've created a moving target. You're essentially making headshots at 100 meters from a very unstable shooting position. Not as wobbly as a wobbly bridge prop as you saw if you watched my high desert brutality videos, but still very challenging.
On the other side.
Here I've got the 147s in the gun, not the 124s. So having a little trouble making my hits here. They're just not coming easy. But this also is a good time to go over some of the other lessons learned, and one of them was my gear. If you watched this video, you've watched that hydration carrier flop all around my rig there. Made a pretty good belt setup with H-harness for the PCC, threw the hydration carrier on there, kind of kludged it on there, and it did not work as well as I thought. Before we go off to a CQB brutality, I have to do something about that rig. Just to make sure that it's ready to go and not flopping around, because that probably will cause me some trouble if I don't get it fixed. Now up here you're about to see a malfunction that's about to get cleared. And reload, and if you notice there was a piece of trash right on the top of the magazine that got shoved up into the chamber. Cleared it out. And got the gun back in action fairly quickly. Turns out there was an old desiccant pack in the bottom of the magazine pouch. We hope you enjoyed this coverage of the September 2023 Fairfax Rod and Gun Club 2-Gun Action Challenge match. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Tune in for future match videos.